All right, everybody, we have finally made it to the painting step. And here's where we're at. I threw all my old airbrushing equipment away because it was just old and I was tired of fighting it, and I bought all new stuff. We're yet to see how good it is, but... So I bought all this Black Widow stuff from Harbor Freight. Here's the gun. You can see I've already got some silver on it from where I've been doing some test spraying. And, you know, we'll see how good it is here in the... See how it turns out on this paint job, because I'm also not a professional, so I've got very limited just goofing around in the garage experience. But that is a really nice case everything comes in. You get 0.5 and 0.3 needles and tanks and all that good stuff. And it has the wide spray pattern, the fan spray. So that's what we're going to be messing with. I did do some test spraying. So I put down some stripes of black. You can see them when I get it just right. And then I kind of went over all of it with that silver. And yeah, it's reflecting nice. My plan is to back all of these pieces of the Aeromax in Spastics Silver Metallic. And then after that's done, I'm going to apply the Spastics Candy Purple. It should be a shiny purple, kind of not exactly the box art, but in the same realm. While I was at replacing all of this stuff, I also replaced my compressor. So this is now my new airbrushing compressor. It is also the Black Widow, and it is a magnificent looking piece of machinery. It gets to 75 psi and shuts off. It does have a reservoir tank. You have twin outlets, which makes it really nice, so you can run two guns at two different colors if you like, which I only have the one gun at the moment. And it just seems to be a pretty good looking setup, if nothing else. If nothing else, it'll look pretty. So I'm going to get to spraying the silver, and I'm just going to spray all these parts on the tree because I'm just backing them in silver, and then I can take them off and put them on individual props for when I want to put the purple on. Alright, so I am by no means a professional here. Just trying to run my thinner out that I got in my gun, run some of that through. And these have just like a nice little pop-on cap. I have mixed my silver to about a 2-to-1 ratio, and I'm running about 35 psi. And I'm just wanting to lay down. Oh crap! Guess that didn't work out so good on my pouring, did it? I'm just wanting to start laying down paint. Is my biggest thing right now, is all I'm wanting to do, which I am making a mess of things, which, yeah, you know, I do that from time to time. As I just mentioned, I am not a professional. The whole idea for me is just to start laying down some paint. I want to start getting this silver put on. I can get all this cleaned up good afterwards. Let's see here. Alright, we got paint coming through. It's laying down some silver pretty good, really. That's exactly what I was hoping to do. Just lay down this backer color and start getting that built up. I want to get a few coats of the silver put on. It's going to be a process. I still haven't figured it out exactly what clear to use with this Spastics. I've seen the clear for the mirror chrome, but I don't know how well that works with everything else. So anybody in the comment section, if you've dealt with that any, I would be glad to hear what you use for your clear on these candy colors, or any Spastic solid color, really. A little section of panels to go for this first coat. I like this compressor too because it's got that reservoir, so you always have good constant air pressure, and it gives you that little barrier the last compressor I had was generating too much heat and it was putting moisture in my line. Every once in a while, you would just, out of nowhere, have your entire paint job ruined by globs, water coming through. The backs, I'm not going to worry about getting as good of a coat on as I did the fronts of everything. But I just don't want any exposed plastic after everything's taken off. Pretty impressed by the amount of paint this thing holds. We're starting to finally run towards the end of it here. Alright, well, that's an example of what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and reload and start getting the other pieces all primered up with this backing color of the silver. Well, I finished up the initial day one spraying, which I know the lighting is not the greatest here in my garage. It's nighttime too, which makes it even worse. Well, let's see. Yeah, we're dry, so get you under the light though. There, that silver is on there. We still have to put a couple more coats on, but overall, first set of backer colors are on, and we're going to do a second one, kind of address any imperfections. I noticed there was like a little tiny maybe hair right there on the hood. There it goes. I might see if I can address that. And then before we move on to the other colors, we're going to have to end up probably masking all of this off, because I'd like to keep that silver on the grill, I do believe. Moving forward, tomorrow I'm going to throw another coat on, and so far this Black Widow Harbor Freight gun and compressor are working out pretty good for me. We are on day 2. I built a couple of jigs for holding the pieces as we paint them. That silver is really going on nice on the second coat. Looks like I might have a couple little blemishes I might have to address from stuff that was on there I didn't see. Yep, right there, maybe a little hair. Yeah. Well, take care of those before we put the purple on, but it's going pretty good. So I started spraying the candy. I got the first coat on. And I'm liking that nice purple tint it's starting to give it. I had a couple of imperfections. You know, I'm not spraying in the best location. I was kicking up a little bit dust. I think I need to get my model a little higher in the air when I go for the next coat. Got a couple little floaty hairs landed on the sides. I think I got them picked off. So it's not too hateful on the eyes. Another couple coats, and I have to try to figure out what kind of clear to use on this thing. Well, making progress. So this is where we're at. I have already gone through one bottle of our purple, and this candy paint's a little bit difficult stuff to spray with. Well, we're starting to get there, and I ran out of paint, so I had to order it, and it's been a week later, and I finally had 2 bottles arrive. So I'm going to start putting on a couple more coats, and we should be able to figure out what we're going to do for the clear soon afterwards. So this has definitely been an educational adventure. Spraying candy is a little bit more difficult than I imagined it would be. That and trying to learn this new spray gun. I think I was getting maybe too high air pressure. I should have thinned it down a little bit more. I was creating some overspray, and I believe that was drying, which gave me a little bit of a rough texture in places. But I mean, overall, it's not the most horrible thing I've painted. Now I am going to try to do some clear coating on this. I've got some automotive clear coat pre-mixed. I can mix it down further if I need to. I'm going to start off by, I got a test panel over there I want to do because I want to make sure it mixes right with this paint. But if that all goes well, then I think I'm just going to hit this with a clear coat and maybe make that extra shiny. Now there's definitely been a learning curve on this. It has been an educational one for sure. This is the clear coat I'll be using, and I think I'm going to go from that wide spray nozzle to the cone nozzle and switch the needle out to the .05 and see if I can get a good overlay with that. Well, it has been cleared for the most part. I'm not really sure how much it helped, but we're just going to roll with it. I'm going to get it put together, and that's just going to be that. I might try like doing a little wax on it or something, but it could be worse. It could also be better. Everybody, here it is. So I learned a lot from this build. The paint definitely didn't come out exactly like I wanted. It's still decent enough. It works for now. I may end up repainting it in the future, maybe trying again. But there's a huge learning curve with that airbrush. So if I would have rattle canned it, I probably wouldn't have had any problems. But if I continue to do that, I wouldn't be able to learn how to do the things I want to do with the airbrush. So overall, you know, I think it's far from perfect, but it'll still look pretty decent. I would have liked to have had a little bit more of a sheen to it, and a little glossy would have been a little bit better, but it's not bad. Heck of a build. This took me a lot longer than I anticipated. I thought at first I'd have this done probably 2 months ago. I've been working on it for a good 3 months now. I thought it would only take me maybe a month to wrap it up. I did not foresee all the steps involved. These builds are incredible. I had a good time building it, and I'm probably going to build another at some point. But it is more time consuming and step intensive than I thought it would be. There was just so many steps to this. All these little pieces, I mean, even just to build a mirror, you have the mirror, the lens, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, the bar it leans on, the 2 hasps, the 2 nuts on this side, 2 nuts on the other side. We're already up to like 13 parts in just that. So I mean, it just one mirror, 13 parts. So it does take a whole lot of time and patience to work through, but I found it pretty rewarding. Thanks for sticking with me through all of it. I'm glad you did. I know these videos aren't quite as exciting as some of the run videos or some of the other things, but for me it was pretty fun because I said this was a whole new experience for me. I've built a lot of trucks, but I've never built a truck quite like this. That being said, I'm looking very, very forward to getting this thing out on the road and running it. I still have to do the lighting. I have to do the sound. There's going to start to be some bling. My shiny rims, 5th wheel, all the stuff like that. I wouldn't mind maybe getting a chrome sun visor, maybe even get some custom graphics made to just say "far from perfect." That'd be a good name for this truck. And I've also got a trailer to build for this. I'll be doing an unboxing of that here in the upcoming future, but I think that trailer is going to look really good on this, and I plan on painting the fenders and frames of that trailer to match. Well, stay tuned for that, and have an awesome day. Thanks for staying with me. Later.